Hello, and welcome to this thing I do, the Fat Squirrel Speaks. How are you? Today is Wednesday, September 3rd, and that's episode 121. Ow. How are you? I already said that, I know, but I'm still concerned. I'm just questioning, I'm just asking. I'm invested in knowing how you are. What are you knitting? What are you working on? Okay, I'm already touching my hair too much. I got a haircut. I'm your host, Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat Squirrel SQRRL on Instagram. I did bring a hat over in the event that I started touching my hair so too much, and we're approximately 52 seconds in, and so I am. So, I know, but see, look, see, I'm just touching it all too much. So, hat on, and we'll proceed. This is my Rike hat, R-I-K-K-E, Rike, Riku. How do I say it? Tivy, I don't know. And it's made with Leading Men Fiber Arts DK in the Into the Woods colorway. It's my favorite hat. I may have gotten a haircut just so I can wear hats again. It's obviously too warm to wear them in the summertime. It's still the summertime, but you know. But I needed a haircut before fall came so I could wear hats again. Because my hair is too long, it's all super stringy looking. It looks ridiculous. So yes, I got my haircut just so I could wear hats again. Yay, hats. Let's see. What do we need to talk about? I guess I can talk about what we're going to talk about this week. We'll do the meta version first. I have a pile of stuff. And allergies. I have knitting, I have spinning and knitting. I have shameless self-promotion. I have wool piggery. I think that's all. There are no shenanigans. We went to, oh, did you have a nice weekend? We did go to a picnic with, or a cookout with friends. It was very fabulous. Because guess what? I didn't have to cook everything. Awesome. Yay, friends. What else did we do? I feel like we did something, but maybe we didn't. I guess we didn't. That was fun though. Things that are coming up. I guess the other thing that's coming up that I'm going to is September, I believe it's the 20th. It's a Saturday. I am going to the wool gathering in Yellow Springs, Ohio at the Young Dairy Farm. So I'm going to that this year. That's the only thing that's coming up, I think. So I'm totally more out of my brain than normal. It's just all of the stuff that's in there. It's like competing. It's like dampening my neurological fire, my synapse firing things. I think it's all of the junk. It's like deadening it all. So I'm feeling very like, what? Oh? So, FYI, that's going to be the mood of the show. Huh? I apologize. Okay, so I guess we should start talking about some stuff, right? Let's talk about some stuff. I have finished spinning somewhere in this pile. Right there. I finished my Tarhi from Spin Monkeys. This is the Rusted Chicken colorway. And I just spun it really fat, so it's like a bulky-ish Aran. I had something like 170-ish yards, I think. I'm saying ish a lot. 180. But it's very squishy and fun. And I am enjoying it. I was a little bit afraid when I started to apply it. I was like, whoa, this color combination is crazy. Like, I love all of these colors individually, but then together, what's happening? But now I like it again. I think it's going to be a good hat. Maybe like this one. So yay that. I'm trying not to cough. I also am now spinning, and I don't have the bobbin because, well, quite frankly, I was just too lazy to take it off the wheel. But I am spinning some Into the World that I got at Rhinebeck last year in the 11th hour colorway. It's some Blueface Luster BFL. It looks a little bit like that. So I have the first 2 ounces on one bob, and it's just going to be 2-ply. It's a beautiful color. I love these colors together. It's just like this beautiful grayish, bluish, and the brown. So pretty. Okay, let's talk about knitting. I finished some stuff, yo. First thing I finished socks for my mama. What up? These are the Hermione's Everyday Socks. This is another Crafty Girls Strong Sock in the Sugar-Free Lollipops colorway. They are knit on US zeros. My mama is a size 9 narrow foot, so they are only a 56 stitch repeat, or a 56 stitch circumference, with a plain old slip stitch heel flap and a gusset, top down. Yay, but aren't they cute? Of course they're cute. Another Crafty Girl does amazing things. This is yarn I got at this year's SSK market. We traded. So yay them. I don't know what else to say except that they're very cute and I like them a lot. So I'm working on Operation Mamaw as a sock drawer. I gotta get to it. I'm very sorry. I just cannot knit socks fast enough. I'm not a very fast sock knitter. It's because I'm knitting too much other stuff, right? That's really what it is. But I need to like really sit down and hammer out some socks for my mama because she loves socks. And she's super cute and fun to give stuff to. Okay. Okay, then the other thing I finished my Benedetta sweater. I keep thinking I'm saying that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. My Benedetta sweater. And I said the designer's name. Like I said it 20 different ways, and I think only one of them may have even closely or loosely been correct. Because I get her and Cecily Glowick McDonald messed up because they both have 3 names, and somehow that's enough to confuse me. Anyway, so it's the Benedetta cardigan by Carrie Bostick Hodge. I think I kept calling her Cecily Bostick Hodge. I don't even know what I was doing. I'm charming. That's what I tell myself. So it's this little sweater right here. It was a pattern written for Brooklyn Tweed. So it is originally written for their fingering weight, which is, I always forget, it's Loft, I think is the thin one, right? Yeah, Brooklyn Tweed's Loft. Which is technically a fingering weight, but it's a tarhi. And it usually kind of goes to a sport weight gauge when they knit it up. They usually tell you if you're going to substitute a sport weight. I am knitting mine out of, I'm so sorry. I'm knitting mine out of, oh my gosh, Bartlett yarns. And they're sport weight yarn in the dark sheep's gray colorway, I think. I made mine short sleeved. That one is long sleeved. I'm going to try something, well, I'm not going to try something to do right now. I'm going to try like in the future to talk about stuff less. I know that sounds weird. I don't mean that. Talk about it less frequently. For example, when I'm working on a sweater, like the minimum I'm going to be working on it is 4 episodes. Minimum! And I always feel silly talking about it all 4 episodes, but then I feel like I also have to show you what I've done. But I'm going to try to get beyond that and just give you like, this is what I'm starting. Maybe give you like a midway point and then a finished point. That's what I'm going to try to do. It's really what I want to do. Let's see if I actually do it. So hopefully that way I feel like I'm saying the same thing less frequently. You know what I mean? Because when I talk about this, I feel like I have to say the things I need to say because maybe people didn't watch last time or whatever. So I'm just going to show the thing less frequently. I hope that will make this podcast a little bit shorter and easier to work into your schedule. Because I know that as a single human being, I really do not need to be putting out a 50-minute podcast. That's way too much of me talking. Yikes. So anyway, that was a lot of... But I'm really hoping, and you should hold me to it. Be like, hey, wait a minute, you said you were only going to talk about stuff like once or twice, and now you're talking about it 7 times again. That's what I'm trying to do. We'll see if it happens. So what did I do different with this? I finished it. I told you what I did. I knit on US 2s at the top, and then I moved to 3s at the bottom. There's no real reason for that. You know, technically you could say something like, well, garter stitch will stretch more at the top because the sweater is weighing you down more, so there's more stretch at the top. And therefore you should knit the top at a tighter gauge than the bottom, which is like, you know, what you could technically say is the reason, but really it's just because 2s are so small that by the time I got like approximately 2 to 3 inches under the armhole, I was like, oh, what am I doing? So really what I secretly did is kept one needle a 2 and switched the other one to a 3. Right? Crazy talk, right? So really, you know, it was somewhere in between. I finished it though. So I added a few short rows to the back neck because I find like that is helpful for me. I did the increases. They did the knit front and back like they indicated because it's garter stitch. So you don't really need to do make one left, make one right. It doesn't really show up as much. And I really like how you can see the increased R's right there, how they turned out. I'm trying to think if I did anything else weird. I added shaping because I usually do. I did not add as much shaping as I often do because, quite frankly, this sweater I did not want to be as fitted. So yes, I did increase for the bust as normal, but when I decreased down for under the bust, I only decreased like 3 inches. Instead of when I do a more fitted sweater, I usually decreased like 5 inches. So, and same for the butt. I increased a few inches, but because I hadn't taken so much out to go down to the waist, I didn't have to add so much in for the butt. And really, that's just waist shaping, but it happens in the back because I increase like Amy Herzog does. So, because she told me to, not me directly, but her information told me to. It sounds like when I say that she was like, hey, Amy Beth. It wasn't that. She just wrote a book and I read it and there we go. And took a class and a craftsy class and totally overwhelmed myself. So I call them butt darts or butt increases because they happen in the back and they are for my giant butt more so than my hips. Because my figure, while it does go out if you're looking at me straight on for my hips, primarily if you look at me from the side, the increase for my hips is in my butt area. So it's perfect to put the shaping for the hips in the back rather than on the sides, as is written in most sweaters. I hope that was slightly coherent. So I did that. Mine is short sleeved. As shown, it is long sleeved. A, I just dig short sleeve sweaters. I think they're very cute. B, as garter stitch, I felt like that was going to be potentially a lot of pilling. A garter sleeve on a garter body. I don't know that it would really make that much difference, but in my head it was corduroy. You know what I mean? That's what happened in my head. It was corduroy in my head. So I did a short sleeve. Also, I intend to wear this over overalls and long sleeve t-shirts in the winter, and I feel like that was the way to go. So the sleeve, all I did differently for the sleeve was, after I divided to go down, because it's the top down, after so I finished my sweater, and then I came back and I worked 6 rows in garter stitch, but I worked them on a smaller needle. So again, the body at least up here was all in 2s, and when I did the sleeves, I worked them in a 2.25 millimeter, which is like the size between a US 0 and a US 1. Because I did not want the arm to like flap up. You know what I mean? Like that was not, I wanted it to be snug to my shoulder right here rather than being like, voonk, because that's not a good look for me. That just makes me look even wider and I don't need any help with that. Cake is doing a good job for me. So like I didn't need that, so that's why I did that in a smaller needle. The only other thing I did the buttonholes all the way down. I believe in the pattern they only have you do the buttonholes for like the first 6 or something. I just went and did them all the way down because it's a very tiny buttonhole. It's just like a yarn over buttonhole. And so you can't, it's not like, oh, there's a hole in that sweater. So I figured just do the whole, all of them, and that way if at some point I want to have buttons on the whole thing, I can, but I don't have to and it won't look weird. So then here are the buttons I settled on. Now, people on Instagram made fun of me, and they should, because quite frankly, somebody needs to keep me in line. Are you going to focus on that little thing? I'm going to try this way. There we go. So for some reason, I had this vision. I usually do not like jazz. I call these buttons jazzy. They're not. They're jazzy for me. Usually on buttons, I want the most simple, understated button available. But for some reason, in my mind, with my overalls and my long sleeve t-shirts, this sweater needed tiny fabric covered buttons in a contrast. Either they were going to be red of some sort, or, as they turned out, flowers, which I totally dig, right? Now these were labeled as vintage. You know, I don't know what vintage means anymore. It might have just been in the style of vintage things, but they were kind of interesting. They have, unlike most buttons now, they have a metal back and they have like a metal shank. We call that a shank, right? So there's like a little voonk that you sew through. So I wasn't really sure about oh, I had originally thought I would put like a backing button on it, but I was not sure how that would really work with the shank. Like I was afraid they would be clacking together. So I just didn't use the backing button. I just sewed them in and we'll see how they go. If it doesn't work out, then I can think of something and maybe put a little piece of ribbon there. I don't like a ribbon on the whole length if I don't have to, because these buttons are not in any way heavy. I just tried to sew them with a wider stitch, like not just catching one stitch, but catching like 2 to 3 and relatively loosely. So that hopefully they won't pull the stitches out of order. If I find that that's being weird, I'll just take small pieces of ribbon or something like that and just restitch them on with the ribbon as essentially a button back, I think. But I didn't have fancy ribbon, so in the interest of finishing it, I didn't use that. Anyway, it's very cute. I'll put pictures here. Sorry, I guess I should have done that earlier, like before I started talking about it, so you'd have a visual. Whatever. So yeah, sorry, I'm making a weird face in those pictures. I was trying to be very conscious of moving my body so that I would get like a decent shot of the sweater. But then, like, I forgot to move my face. So it was just like, whatever. It's done. It was also like 85 degrees. And I had to model it with my long sleeve t-shirt and my overalls, so it was like 9,000 degrees on my person. So there's that. Okay, let's talk about what I'm knitting now. What am I knitting now? What have you seen? Oh, I'm knitting my Sister Bay. That sounds wrong now. That's right though, isn't it? The Sister Bay by the lovely Paula Emmons Feasley. But I have to look now because it doesn't sound right. No, that's right. Just Sister Bay. I'm sorry. So it is a pattern originally written for Quince and Company. It's Chickadee, which is the sport weight, which I love. But I also love Beaverside Dry Goods 2-ply sock. So I am knitting mine. You can see, yay! I have the body done. Last time I had a little bit of the border, but I thought I could show you that there was this much more done. So next time, hopefully, it will be blocked that you see it and ready to roll. The grayish brown natural color is the mink, and the red is choke cherry. So it's very pleasant. Garter stitch with applied border. You can see that there. That's happening. That is my marker. I had to put a marker at the halfway point, like, okay, you're halfway with the done, and then I had to do them again at the like 75% way done. So I'll be almost 3/4 of the way done in like 10, 15 rows. Woohoo! The border is very easy. It's very easy to memorize, and it looks quite snazzy, of course. Paula always does a good job. And see, look at that. Doesn't that look tight and good? Ooh, so pretty. So yay that. I did the largest size that is written. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now I think everything else, well, there's only one other thing to show you. And this is so exciting. So I told you that we had a cookout that we went to, right? It was on Sunday, late afternoon. Well, I was like, oh no. Joan of Lollipop Yarn was going to have an update, and usually I can, you know, okay, no, it's not true. I hit them more than I should. But she Instagrammed earlier in the day, and she had this colorway that I was in love with. But her update was going to be at, I believe she does her updates at 7. Well, she was also doing another update at 7:15 because she has a new base called Beefcake. More in a minute. But this colorway was gorgeous and I really needed it. So I set a timer on my iPod. And I thought, I'm taking it with me, and know the people that we're going to have Wi-Fi. I don't have a phone that talks to space. So like I'll have the alarm, and then it'll go off and it'll remind me to buy this yarn. Because that's what everybody does at a Labor Day picnic, right? Just a minute, everybody! Badminton, timeout. So unfortunately, I left my purse in their house, and I did not hear my timer. And of course, nobody else heard it, because why would they even know what was happening? And really, it was just children in the house running back and forth. So they don't understand that I need to buy yarn on a Sunday at a certain time, because it sells out that fast. So when I got home, I realized that I had missed it, and I was like, oh! I mean, I was still happy. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, I should have never gone so that I could buy my yarn. It wasn't like that at all. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. Mostly. But I was like, darn it! Oh! Well, I go to check my mail on Tuesday, so that was the end of it. End of it. I was like, maybe I can add a special order, you know? Maybe I'll just special order it, because I really loved it. I checked my mail on Tuesday, and there's a square box. Have you ever gotten anything from Joan? It comes in a cube. And I was like, did I order? First, I just saw the shape of the box. I was like, what could I order that comes in that box? The only person I know that uses that box is Joan of Lollipop Yarn. It's like, I didn't order anything from her because I missed it. And then I even thought to myself, I may have had a few drinks. I even thought to myself, did I somehow order the yarn without even knowing it? And I was like, no, that couldn't have happened. I only had a few drinks, not like 700. I was like, no, that could have happened. So then I'm like, what could that be? I think the only thing I have coming is like handles from China, and they don't come in a box. And I was like, so I get the box, it's from Lollipop Yarn. What's going on? Why is it from Lollipop Yarn? And I was like, did somebody like so nice of the face send me some random Lollipop Yarn? What's happening? And I open it up. It was exactly the yarn I wanted. I didn't say to anybody that I wanted the yarn. I did not put it on Instagram. I did not even respond to Joan's thing except with a like. This was in my box! Wait, this and, well, there was the... What? I'm sorry. What? How did I... Joan totally put a note in there like, oh, I feel like you would really like this one, and it's a new base, and thought maybe I should. She totally knew. She sensed my longing. She received it like a swift pinch in the butt. I was like, Send it to me! How does that happen? I'm so excited. People in my house were not nearly as excited as I was. But whatever. I have more fun. So here it is. All of that for Lollipop Yarn. This is the Whiskey Bent and Hellbound colorway. And it's on her new beefcake base, which I feel like I need to talk like Cartman, but with my allergy system, it could just dislodge something. Let's face it. So I'll have to wait for another day. But this is our beefcake, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a 3-ply sport weight. So in this, for example, in the heels and toes ones, you get 100 grams, which is 300 yards of the main color, and 25 grams, or approximately 75 yards, of the heel and toes. And it's suggested to be 7 stitches to the inch on a US 2. What? I'm so excited. So of course, this came Tuesday. It is now Wednesday. My mail comes approximately at 5 o'clock at night. So here's my shopping. I mean, it would have been cooler if I'd have been like, here's my finished stock. But whatever. Shut up. Right? So that I had to go through the full repeat. So these 4 stripes, this stripe here is the same as this one here. Right? I love it, dude. I'm so sorry. So I'm knitting it on I'm knitting it on US zeros, but again, I do my normal socks in a double zero. And I went down an entire, like I usually do a 72 stitch, and this is going to be a 64 stitch. And it is going to be it's not even a snug 64 stitch on me, because I'm going to do a gussetless heel, which I'll talk about in a minute. So yikes. So sometimes I like to have that sock just a little bit more givey in that situation. But isn't it beautiful? Oh my gosh, I love it. Love it. And you're like, that doesn't look like a normal plain old toe that you do. You are absolutely correct. How observant of you to notice. That is in fact because I am using a pattern from Laura Neal's new book, Sock Architecture. Right. I met her face. Just saying. I know people who've written books. I'm just saying. Very busy. I'm so sorry. So Laura has a new book called Sock Architecture out. It is put out by Cooperative Press. Those good folks at Cooperative Press. I am knitting the Dyad, which is a toe-up sock. Looks like that. And it has this fun little toe and a fun little heel, which perfectly worked out because I have my funny heels and toes. Just saying. And you can do it with a gusset or without. I'm going to do it without. I'm so sorry. But, so I'm not doing a full review of this book. At least not at this point. I might try to do one next week, a slightly more in-depth look at it, because there are other podcasters who do that and they do that much better, aka the Knit Girls, and other people as well, but specifically them. So I will just talk briefly about it because I actually just started looking at it last night when I made this song. It's true. But this is the really fun thing. And of course I should know that this would be what Laura would do, because I just had a moment where I was like, should I be calling her Laura or Laura? Anyway, she'll forgive me, I'm sure, because she's kind. But she's math-based. She's math-oriented. So this I'm just talking about this specific pattern over because that's what I'm most familiar with, but from what I can tell, they are all like this. Not only does she give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sizes, 6 sizes? 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 sizes for the pattern. So this one, for example, runs from a women's extra small, which is a 7-inch circumference, up to a 9.5-inch circumference. But she also gives you like a magic size, which is a size you can do a little bit of math and figure out, like if you need to have some sort of further customization. So either you have a very wide foot or you have a, like you're knitting for a child or something like that. It's like it falls outside of that very healthy 2.5-inch circumference range. Then you can customize it to exactly yours. And she gives you a little chart and you fill out the chart and then you have like a magic number that is the last size written in the pattern. Okay, so there's that. 6 sizes with an optional 7th. Then for this pattern, and I think for other ones, you get 3 toe options. Meaning the toe that is written for this pattern, which is a sideways toe, you can do it in short, which is what I'm doing because I have a wide toe like a wide toe, and it's not deep. You can do it in medium, so like your average, or long. So if you have a very long toe area, narrow, long. How fun is that? And it's like not even clunky in the pattern because it's very briefly explained how to do each one. Right. She gives you an example. For example, this heel, if you want to do it gussetless, she suggests how you could, if you wanted to, determine if that gussetless heel will fit you properly by knitting a little sample heel. But how cool is that? So I'm doing the sideways heel and then I'm doing this fun new thing for the heel, which is gussetless. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited. I'm very excited. So yeah, it's called the band heel. So there are all those fun options in just one pattern. Right. How cool is that? I'm very excited. So that's why my little toe looks kind of like a platypus. It makes me happy. And I like the way it fits so far. So I'm very excited about that. So beautiful yarn and beautiful book, both gifted to me for review. I'm so excited. I'm so lucky. Okay, so what else do I need to talk about this book? Just briefly. For one thing, wherever you are in the book, if you're on the electronic version, down here there's a little sock. And if you click on that, it'll take you back to the table of contents. It's a TOC sock. Right, how cool is that? So there's a table of contents with the actual like knitting socks that fit, top-down socks. And it gives you like a million different flap and gusset heels, some afterthought heels with gussets, without gussets, toe-up things, you know, lots of different options. But then, we all know and love, we get a visual table of contents. Hooray! And you can just click on that sock. It'll go right there. How snazzy is that business? Pretty snazzy. That's how snazzy it is. So, what else do I need to say? Oh, one of the things I did want to mention that's so cute is the dedication of the book for my Nana, who didn't have the chance to write her books. That's all I'm saying. Did I say this is called sock architecture? I believe I did. I believe I'm not a liar who lies, but I could be. So, and it looks like that. So, yay! She's the hostess of the Math for Knitters podcast blog, whatever you would like to call it. And so, isn't that fun, though? I'm very excited to learn more about my sock architecture. And much like a cat boardie where you get different recipes for heels and different recipes for toes, I'm sure other people do that too, but that's what comes to mind. You can like mishmash these things together and make your own combinations. If you find a really good toe you like and a really good heel, you know, that's encouraged, obviously. So, hooray for that. I'm trying to figure out how much it is. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I believe it is $16.95, but now that I've said that, I will be wrong. It will be, in fact, $75,000. And I will look like a total jerk for underselling it. But because I'm a jerk like that. But it does have, in fact, 17 sock patterns, or again, the ability to create your own. And you can get the digital version of said book for $16.95. I was right. Yay me. And I don't know that there is going to be... Oh my gosh, I gotta stop reading. There may or may not be a paper version. I'm stopping. Usually there is for cooperative. So what do you think about that? So thank you for sending that to me, Joan, and also Laura. Okay, what else do we need to talk about? Oh! There's a vertebrae cow. Not a mama vertebrae cow. There's a vertebrae cow going on in the group. There's loads of chatter, which makes me so excited. So if you want to knit a vertebrae, just join in. You can do a baby one, a kid one, a newborn one, or a mama one, or daddy. I said this last time, sorry. So any of the options are available to you. There was a question this week about, hey, I got some big girls up front. I don't know that I really want that sweater that does not cover them in any way. I have a pretty big bust line. It's not proportionately that giant. I mean, if you had my bust line on a thin woman, but for my body size, it's not disproportionately large. I enjoy the frontless cardigan. I've said it before, like if I'm gonna wear a sweater that closes, then yes, I want it to close. But if I'm gonna wear a sweater open, for example, in the summer, or what I'm gonna do this time is knit a heavier weight sweater that I intend just to leave open, that I want to have open for like temperature adjustment-ness. I don't want, like, so if I'm gonna wear a cardigan open, I don't want all that extra fabric like jamming up in business. It gets all into my arms and it's a lot of extra stuff. So it's up to you. If you feel very self-conscious about your bust line, it may not be a good sweater for you. But hi, there are your boobs. Boobs! Come on! They're great. Everybody loves them. If you feel self-conscious, that's okay. But if you do, maybe you could just like remember in your head me going, boobs! And then you'd be like, boobs! And then everybody would be like, boobs! They're good. So anyway, I'm just saying. If that is a concern, this may not be the best sweater for you. Knit a baby one. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do another mama vertebrae. I might actually do one for my kiddo too. I don't know. I have her yarn. Every year I knit my kid a sweater for school. I have her yarn. I got Socks That Rock because I'm fancy this year apparently. I don't know what happened. But I got her Socks That Rock. I got her enough to make her a full sweater, so I hate, in a way, to make the vertebrae with that because I'll have so much yardage left over. But I don't know. I got medium weight. So I don't know what to do for sure. We'll see. I need a conference with her. But I know that I'm making one for myself. And that one that I'm making for myself is made with, do you see me slickly listening, reaching through there? Oh Lord, what did I do? Oh good, that was empty. I'm knitting mine with Cascade Eco Plus. And it is colorway, it's just a number, 9608. It's 100% Peruvian wool, 250 grams, 470 yards, 478. So I only have 2 of these. So originally I thought I could maybe sneak out a Miranda, which is the reason I bought it. Because let's face it, it was on clearance at Webb's for like $12. And I really like the color. This is weird. I thought it'd be a great Miranda, but then I'm teetering right on the edge of it being enough. And I don't want to have to make a short sweater. You know what I mean? That's too short. So I thought, but it's going to be perfect, I think, for the vertebrae. So here it is. This is the color I am using. Did I bring my... Oh, I had every intention of bringing my swatch, and yet I left it over there. Oh, well. It's just... I looked at doing a different stitch pattern for texture and whatnot. But ultimately, I really liked how it looked in stockinette, so I'm just going to do stockinette. So yay, that. So 2 balls of this. I think that'll give me a full deal. Because it's much bulkier. I think my gauge is in 14.5 stitches to 10 centimeters. The pattern is written in metric. Put your hat on. Put your metric hat on. It's my metric hat. But remember, it's in centimeters and millimeters. Don't freak out. It's okay. Just turn over your tape measure to that other size. You don't have to do any conversions. Okay? Just measure everything in centimeters and millimeters. You only have to take this measurement, so just redo this in centimeters. That way you don't even have to convert anything. It'll make you less confused. Do your gauge in centimeters. 10 centimeters is roughly 4 inches, but just do it in centimeters to get it in your head to do it in centimeters. Just saying. You have a lot of evolution of the metrics. So I think that's all I have to say about that. There will be prizes. There'll be 1 grand prize for sure. And there'll be other prizes too. A wee grand prize. And then wool pickery. I am planning on knitting, as soon as I finish the shawl, I'm going to cast on for Paula's new cowl. Which is it upstairs, downstairs, or now am I making that up? In 3 sizes, whatever it is considered in 3, it's called in 3 sizes. Yeah, okay, it is upstairs, downstairs. I'm not making that up. But here is a picture of it. Let's see if we can get a good picture that you can see maybe. It's written for sport weight. I didn't have any sport weight in the stash. How does that even happen? What? So I was like, oh, clearly I could do it in DK, but I didn't have enough DK of any one thing. I almost had enough of one thing, but not quite, and I want to make it the full size. So what do? I buy more yarn. Shut up. So I went out and bought Steve's birthday of Leading Fiber Arts. So I got 20% off because it's his birthday. Off already affordably priced yarn. And I got the Steve and Andy colorway. This is their DK. Same thing as this. These are 115 grams gains, so you get 250 yards. Isn't that lovely? Oh, so pretty. So I'm very excited about that. That will be coming up soon. Okay. Now we'll do shameless self-promotion. If you don't want to stick around, let's go. Bye-bye. If you do stick around, oh my gosh, it's Halloween update time! September 5th will be the Fat Squirrel Fibers Halloween update. September 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And let me show you what's going on. Okay, there's lots of bags. I'm in a little crazy. It's really hard. Like Christmas and Halloween fabrics are really hard not to buy way too much of. Because there's so many. Usually I kind of get off safe because when I do the decorator, the heavier fabrics, there just aren't as many options to choose from. So it's much easier not to go insane. Well, when you start looking at quilters cottons for the holidays, it's all over. Right, it's all over. So here we go. Sock bags. There will be two styles this time round. You get your exciting little ghosties. These will all have handles. I just haven't gotten handles done yet. And then the lining is bats. And the bats even say boo, which you probably can't see right here, but see, there you go. So you get coordinated lining. And your little ghosties. Okay. Then you get bats. Would you like some bats? Secretly, I was kind of afraid of this fabric. I was like, I have gone crazy, but now I love it. It has a very nice hand. Isn't it cute? And the lining, orange. Scary cobwebs. Ready for it? It's cobweb time. And I like this. It feels very nice. So there's that one. These are all quilters cotton and they are all interfaced. Okay, wait, that's my favorite one, so I'll say that for a minute. The next thing I have available, I have some of my small wedges. I don't do many of them now because I'm doing the sock size. I don't know why. Also, these fabric patterns were kind of larger, so it just worked out that way. But in a small wedge, I do have this little guy, a few of these. This fabric. These are also available in a large wedge size. But are they cute? The remainder of the bags I show you will all have the natural unbleached lining, because the bigger sizes always do. But right? So fun! Books and skulls, spiders and jars. So there's that. That's the only fabric the small wedge is available in. Okay, now the large wedge. There's a lot of these. A little crazy. Okay, we'll show you its sister. So here's that in a large wedge. Sorry. Fabric placement will vary on all of these. For example, this one has the same exact cut on both sides in terms of like spacing, but a lot of them don't. Simply because then some of them would have run up with this little funny thing here, way down here, and it would have been right on the fold, and so I mixed most of them up. But this one I'm showing you just happens to be one that's the same. Fabric placement will vary, people. Except on this one, which I think they're all the same with this one. So, if you need kitty cats, I'm always told that I don't have any kitty cats. Well, there's some kitty cats for you for Halloween. And down here it even says black cats. And there's thread all over them. I'm still working. These are handmade. So there's that guy. Then this is my favorite one. I love it. There's this guy. So these are my favorite. I don't know, this fabric is really cute. I always forget to show you. Like these open up like this. They have about a 5-inch gusset for the bottom. So they hold quite a bit. Multiple sock projects. Or socks and shawls. Okay, that's a little overwhelming. It can't hold 4 skeins of yarn. Well, it can, but not with bags too. But they're pretty healthy sized. Okay, and then here's this guy. Ooh, gothic-y. So you get the fun little kind of retro gothy look with the papers and whatnot. I hate to admit this, but this always, this effect always reminds me. Do you remember Wendy's? I was born in '78, so Wendy's in the '80s, Wendy's the fast food chain, used to have tables that had like vintage newspaper print on them. So it would be like ads for corsets, and I think they were mostly advertisements. I don't think there was a lot of actual news on them. But this always, this reminds me of that. But I was fascinated. I loved to look at their tables when I was a kid. Then this print is also available in sweater size. so you can see the difference. Sweater size is 2 inches wider and technically 3 inches deeper, but it also has a 6-inch bottom. So there are those two. And the very last one is also the craziest one. Look at that! What is that? I love it. It's a huge print, so that's only available on the sweater size bags. Otherwise, it would have just been too hard to try to get right. I would have wasted. I have trouble wasting the print, so that's why it's only available on sweaters. So there's this fun skull guy, and this one will vary too, but I think, whatever. This one will vary. You get a crazy spider web with her, but it also has this lace effect. And then there's the fun the murder of crows over here. Sorry, left and right are very confusing. Don't judge until you've done this. You get this crazy feather quilly thing happening. More birds. More lacy crazy. Right. This one's kind of nutty. I have enough to do quite a few of these, but these will be sewn to order. Now, typically that just means I have the fabric in hand. So usually I ship out on Monday or Tuesday. These might ship Wednesday or Thursday, so it'll only be a few days delay, but I just want to give you a heads up if you were interested in that one. I'm not going to sew all of them because I'm secretly afraid that it's going to want one. But they're really fun. But they are a little crazy. So yay that. And that's all. Oh, I totally forgot to say, my buttons that are on my little sweater were from Goblin Stitch, which is goblinstitch.etsy.com. I'll try to remember to put that in the show notes. I feel like they were one of a kind. They were labeled as vintage and there were no other ones there. But she did have some similar buttons. So yeah. Okay, I think that's all. Still, it's 46 minutes long. Really? Okay. I'll talk next week. Bye.